Hey everyone, Norm from Tested, and I have a show and tell today that bookends this week with another bit of model making. Now, we kicked off this week with some videos about model making miniatures from our visit to Prop Store to check out some original miniature props from films, to Adam talking about his time working in the ILM model shop and showing us some pieces from that. And today I have a model making video that's a little bit more accessible. It's actually a kit that's available now that we first saw a couple of years ago back in Maker Faire 2018. We were down in San Mateo, we were walking the show convention floor, and we met Jeff and Scott from a new company called Snapships. Now, these are just two guys who used to work in the video games business that then took this idea of designing in 3D Studio Max and then 3D printing a prototype for a modular spaceship building system. It caught our eye, kind of looked like this combination of Lego style modular construction sets with kit bashing, and now 2 years later they've actually partnered with a toy maker, Play Monster, to make Snapships into a real product, into a real kit. You can get them today. And Jeff and Scott sent me a few of them, and I've been spending this past week wrapping up my evenings, kind of winding down by putting these together, and they're awesome. I mean, it was so cool to see the prototypes and to see the pieces that they were experimenting with back in 2018. And now, I mean, they're real products. These are the ships. They come in a bunch of different versions. There's a whole backstory and universe they've developed with these two factions, and the kits come in a variety of sizes. You have the small size here, which is about 25 pieces. Again, you see all the hallmarks of a classic science fiction ship, from your cockpit to your wings. You have your intakes, your engines, your weapon systems, to more novel designs that are a little larger. So there's a medium-sized set that's about between 75 to 100 pieces, and this is one of those. I mean, it's just wonderfully detailed. I followed their instructions to put this one together, but it has, tons and tons of surface detail. You can't even really tell that this was a modular kit because it's nicely hidden with panels, with accessories, with thrusters. So today I'm going to be putting together this kit. It's their largest set at about 125 pieces, this amazing looking dropship, and I'll give you a sense of their ambitions, how this comes together, and the thoughtfulness and design that went into making this modular set. Let's break open the box and let's get started. All right, let's take a look at some of these pieces. So first off, one of the neat things is the top of the box ends up being a display base. So we keep those, and they come with little display stands that you can place the ships on. And then you can see that something like this cube is basically the fundamental building block of what I would consider like the core of the ship. So there are 5 sides here that have this recessed docking point, and then one peg here, and then other pieces have the pegs as well, so they perfectly connect on and snap on because it's called Snapships. What's also neat, it's very easy to remove, it's a pretty secure connection, is that you can see it's not just a square here, it actually can be oriented in multiple angles, including a 45-degree angle, and it's locked pretty tight, while there are certain pegs that also let you do a full rotation, so you can have a ship like this small one, for example, and then have that do that full rotation. So the first step typically in building this is building out what you would consider the internal core volume of the ship, that then you start adding your greeblies around. And so for this, we take these cubes and then we start piecing them together in a way to create a bigger internal volume that's going to be somehow shaped like this dropship. You'll notice as I'm putting this together, it's already looking like it has some weight and mass to it. And that's what I really like. When I start getting these pieces put together, it's pretty tight connection. And a lot of these ships, there's symmetry to them. So it's really easy to really pick out these pairs of parts. When you have things like wings and you need chirality and symmetry, that's when you have to make sure you have them oriented correctly, but they've done a really good job of making sure some of the pieces can be flipped upside down, and so there's a lot of versatility in terms of how you can actually put the pieces together and still retain symmetry. What I found really neat is as I'm putting this together, obviously the goal is to make this look like it's a full ship. I don't want to hide all the places where there are holes for the pegs, either with something like a blaster or a wing or an engine, but there are also these just basic panel pieces, panel coverings that I can use to cover the holes and make it look like a manufactured product. Now, I think one of the tricky things about designing a system like this is to make it modular, but also to give enough variability. So when you take it apart and rebuild it, they look sufficiently different. And so and I think they've designed over 100 different just types of components. So you have different looking guns and blasters to exhausts to just panels that can fit on. And I do recognize some things that are repeating, but there seems to be enough variability that I could totally see myself putting together a ship that looks completely different from this. And there's even unique things like hinges, so there's some playability and some maneuverability in them. They're not just static models, there are little tiny figures that come with them as well. And then there are some, more proprietary pieces that are for the specific model. So for this dropship gunship, like that's what this comes from. But it's all pretty neat so far. And color-wise, it's a lot of grays here, two major color schemes between the two factions, but there are little accents in the greens and the blues that do make them pop. But I do think it's something that you could throw some paint on after the fact to really tie it together. All right, so here we go. We have our dropship, our gunship. Really fun to put together, super simple. Like I was saying, they are really forgiving in terms of how well the pieces fit together and how easy they are to pry apart. This kit actually came with 2 vehicles, but toward the end of the build, I started to go freestyle and just kind of started putting pieces together. And yeah, I like the look of it. I have a little separate dropship now that can come off. And they're not expensive at all either. The small sets, the smallest ones with about 25 pieces are like $10, and the medium-sized ones $15, and this one's I think you can get online for around $40. I think they're totally worth it. Super fun, a lot of surprise and delight. There was even a whole AR phone tablet game companion that I haven't even dove into that expands the universe and allows more interactivity with what you built. But I just want to give a big congratulations and shout out to Scott and Jeff of Snapships for turning their kind of pet project, their experimentation into a real product that I can enjoy, and hopefully you out there will enjoy as well. We'll have links to where you can find these in the description below. Hope you get a chance to pick them up. Holidays are coming up, and I can't wait to take this all apart and build them when my kid is old enough to start building his first spaceships. But hope you all have had a great week. We'll be back next time with more fun projects, more videos, and until then, see ya. Bye.